Previously on Runderground.
What a beautiful day to kick off the first day of running the Greater London Rail. After 11 weeks, it is finally time to say goodbye to running the Thameslink network.
7 days, however many kilometres later, finally ran the entire South Western Railway on the London Rail map.
But now officially that means I've ran Great Northern Railway, at least on the London Rail map anyway. And stay tuned for next week where I run a brand new operator.
In episode 16 of Running the London Rail Map, I'm covering more of Great Western Railway. Today I'm running between West Ealing and Slough, with a total distance of 26.57 kilometres and taking just over 3 hours and a half. The route is mostly tarmac between West Ealing to Southall, with the remainder of the route taking place mostly alongside the Grand Union Canal. Now if you fancy more route specifics, or if you want to follow where on the map I am so far, then head to my Strava to see the route up close. Link is in the description. Anyway, let's see how I'm getting on so far.
I've recently set off from West Ealing Station and I have actually missed a station. I have in fact missed Hanwell. Why is that? Well, it's because Great Western services don't actually stop at Hanwell Station. Just around the corner from Hanwell Station, I couldn't not mention, of course, the beautiful Wharncliffe Viaduct.
Wharncliffe Viaduct was built between 1836 to 1837 to carry the Great Western Railway. It was designed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, a celebrated British engineer who is behind many engineering firsts, one of which was a tunnel underneath the river which still sees continued use by the London Overground between Wapping and Rotherhithe.
Literally all of the stations from here over to Slough, I've already done when doing the Elizabeth line, but I just think it's good to do it in reverse. Alright, let's keep it moving. This here is Southall Park, a place that I've ran through in the past. However, this time round, there is a brand new park run that takes place here. In fact, I was there just this morning. So right now we're doing the Southall Park run. This is Alex here. Now, Alex, you are in the process of running all of the London park runs. How are you finding this park run so far?
It's really, really nice. Love it. Beautiful park, great trees, gorgeous day. Fantastic.
And the volunteers here, and absolutely chef kiss. They're amazing. Yay! Woo! Take it away, Alex. Another London park run ticked off. So here we are at Southall Station. Well, the former Southall Station. Let's take a look at the brand new one. Here we are. So this is the brand new Southall Station. Recently opened, I think it was sometime in 2020, 2021. I think the last time that I'd come here there were a load of hoardings and everything that was about, so it's great to see this station finally open. One of the very few stations that has its station signage bilingual, because you have the English variation and in Punjabi because of the rich Punjabi community that is here. But at this point Josh is leaving me here, so thank you so much for joining me for a part of this journey, and I will see you back at home. Bye. At this point we've got 20.3 kilometres till we get to Slough. Let's keep it moving. So here we're now over to Slough. We're going to be running next to the Grand Union Canal. Excellent. This just behind me is Bulls Bridge Junction. To the left is where it goes towards Paddington, straight on heads out towards Brentford. But where did it get that name, Bulls Bridge, from? So there used to be nearby farmland and the farmers used to walk their bulls over this bridge here. And so when they were thinking of naming places like bridges and that, they're like, you know what, Bulls Bridge sounds like a cracking name, so we're going to keep this as Bulls Bridge. I'm actually kidding, I don't know where it got the name Bulls Bridge from. If you know, let me know. That just sounds convincing though, doesn't it? Colour me shocked though if that was actually genuine. So we've got 16.4 kilometres remaining. This is Hayes and Harlington Station. You know, the last time I was here, all of this area was completely covered in hoardings and everything else. In fact, I remember the ticket office. I think it was a temporary ticket office that was here, so that is no longer here.
However, what still remains in the area is a building known as the Old Vinyl Factory. Back in the early 1900s, the factory was built to produce gramophones and vinyl records for the record label His Master's Voice, or HMV. How times have changed. The architect firm behind the factory, Wallace, Gilbert and Partners, were also behind the Hoover Building in Perivale and Victoria Coach Station. The gramophone company later merged with record label Columbia to create the music label EMI, along with its in-house Central Research Laboratory, which then later created the world's first stereo film. The film in question? None other than trains entering and departing Hayes Station. The film was shot through the window from the EMI office nearby that looked out onto the station. However, in 1978, the vinyl factory closed due to competition with the tape cassette and Walkman. The EMI offices moved and factories were left abandoned. The main Central Research Laboratory remained in use up until 1996. In 2011, the site was acquired by property developers U&I, with its factories restored and renamed to the Old Vinyl Factory. And that was just a quick insight into Hayes' important contribution to the music and film industry as we know it as today.
This station has changed so much since last time I was here, but this is West Drayton Station. For all of the one person I asked, did you know that there wasn't just one, but two branches of railway that used to go from here? So where I'm stood right now used to be where the railway line up to Uxbridge used to go. But what about the other line? Well, that line is actually still in use. Well, most of it's still in use anyway. In fact, a part of the railway line was due to be used as the air track plans. It was to connect the southwest to Heathrow Airport. And unfortunately, that hasn't happened. Where I'm running now is the Corn Valley Trail, and we've just got some fishing lakes on the opposite side of the road here. I've never seen that before. What a fantastic piece of engineering this is. Bloody Nora, the canal over a river. Why do I feel so fascinated by that? This is normal from where you are. Like, sure, you probably don't care, but for me, I care. So, what now? So at this point of the Grand Union Canal, you can see that the path kind of splits here. So we're going to go to the left because we're going to drop down to Ivor Station, but then we're going to be coming right back along, then rejoining the Grand Union Canal. Lovely stuff! Sounds like there's a train coming. Ivor Station, we've got 8.29 kilometres remaining, got Langley and Slough stations left so far. Now time to go back the way we came to get up to the Grand Union Canal. Right. Taking a moment just to stop here and take in the view. You've got the field just in front, you've got railways, you've got planes taking off from Heathrow just in the distance. I just feel like very centred. Here we are at Langley Station. So now we've got 4.54 kilometres remaining. We have Slough, our last station of the day. Here we go, and the Grand Union Canal just stops right here. Stops right here. Yeah, this is, I believe, the Slough Basin, if I'm not mistaken. So 25.83 kilometres later, we made it to Slough. God, that was a long run. So what have we covered today? Well, there was Wharncliffe Viaduct, brand new station buildings and parkruns, the Grand Union Canal, and Hayes' importance to the music and film industry. But what was something you learned? Let me know down in the comments. Coming up next week, I'm running the challenging 36-kilometre distance between Slough and Reading on the Great Western Railway, where we also pay a visit to Maidenhead's Museum, race more trains, and discuss some self-doubts. I hate to say it, it felt like as if I was an embarrassment for liking these things. All in a brand new episode of Underground. See you next